Facebook has taken some big strides in the last 12 months. Probably a key one that people were kind of calling potentially the trade me killer was marketplace.
Yeah.
So basically that launching out so anyone can sell things themselves. Interestingly, without taking a clip of the ticket.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty interesting. So
yeah.
That was probably a big one.
And it's still quite an immature product, I think. If you look at it now, it's serving, certainly when I have a look at Marketplace, it's serving me items for sales which perhaps aren't quite relevant to me. But as they build up that algorithm around what people are buying and what you like, it's going to become a lot more targeted and a lot more specific.
What else?
Facebook Workplace is a big one. So this is their first foray into the SaaS marketplace.
To try and beat Slack.
Yeah, they're taking on Slack. Direct competition. Workplace is a internal communication tool, and I guess for me one of the things that stands out is that it immediately has an advantage over most of its competitors because everyone understands the interface, right?
Yeah.
It's built with the same design as Facebook. We all understand the features and the functionality within Facebook, and it's quite an interesting pricing model as well, in that you pay per user, but you only pay if the user actually logs in that month and engages within the platform that month. So it'll be really interesting to see, because if this is going to be the first product they've got which does not rely on advertising. This is all going to be a monthly typical SaaS payment model.
It's interesting to see them go wider too of like the other stuff that can plug into it, which probably leads to the messaging product, which in 2016 took the first jump to actually go into its own standalone app.
Yeah.
Now it was quite interesting because when they forced me into it, I was kind of like, I just didn't want it there, I just wanted to do it. But you can see that straight away after rolling that, they started rolling out these different options. So where do you think the messaging part of Facebook is clearly headed towards 2017?
Well, the interesting thing this year was that it became its own app, but it also became a platform. So a platform, the definition of that being that third-party developers can now create apps that they plug into it.
Huge.
So we can now, and in fact, actually not all of this is rolled out across New Zealand, but in the US right now, if you want to make a payment to one of your mates via Messenger, you can do so. You can book an Uber through Messenger, you can play games through Messenger, you can buy flowers through Messenger, and that's all using bot functionality. So you're not talking to a human, you're doing that's all automated. The interesting thing for me is around advertising. So Facebook Messenger right now, you can advertise to people you actually display your ads within Messenger. So what we've got to remember is that Facebook is running out of inventory. Their crown jewels of the Facebook news feed is getting full, and they reckon that within the next year or so it will be full.
As more and more people create content go on it.
Exactly. So they're having to find other places, other inventory, and Messenger would be the classic for that. So at the moment we can advertise to people on Messenger only if they have sent us a message on our Facebook page. So you could advertise to anyone within their Messenger who has sent you on your Robett Hollis page a message. So that then brings up the question of wanting to improve your communication with your users, because we know that the most effective place to advertise right now in terms of open rates is text messages. 90% of text messages are opened. Now you then look at Messenger. It's going to have a pretty high open rate. So you then compare that to displaying ads in the Facebook newsfeed or displaying ads on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever. Messenger becomes a really interesting place to advertise for me.
Do you think that Zucks has kind of decided that Facebook, as we know it, is essentially your content stream, and Messenger is going to be the commerce and the communications?
Yeah.
Do you think that internally they've made that split, and now they're just going to go deeper within that, right? Like it feels...
They're going really deep on it, and brands are going to have to start thinking about how they use Messenger. It's not just a communication tool, it's an advertising tool. How can you take some of your technology and embed it into Messenger? Yeah. The other interesting thing that they've just released recently is you can now advertise within Facebook as normal, but rather than sending someone to your website, you're sending them into Messenger. So someone sees your ad, clicks on your ad, and then up pops, it opens Messenger, opens a message, and you can have a pre-written little pre-scripted message in there. So you're starting a conversation with a user, which is very, very interesting actually, because that can work for really sort of small, if you're a coach or a consultant, but it can also work at the very high brand level as well.
It also shows that from a top end strategically, they're using the Facebook platform as its own funnel to go into its own platform to execute, which is actually kind of genius.
It's very clever. So you advertise to start conversations with clients, and then once you've started those conversations, you can then advertise to them in Messenger.
In real time.
Yeah.
Through.
Yeah.
Good old Facebook, taking over the world.